Good morning and welcome to the vlog. I've got 3 days of pretty intense boating ahead of me, of which today is actually going to be the easiest with only 11 locks or so and a couple of stops along the way. I've got to get from where I am now, which is Fazeley Mill, down to Birmingham, through it to the other side. So today it's Fazeley Mill to, I think it's called Curdworth, which is just on the outskirts of Birmingham. And then various people have told me that Birmingham itself is pretty much like something out of a Mad Max film. You won't want to stop there. Now, this does not tally with the Birmingham I know, which is a nice city, but of course down on the canals it can always be a bit different with ne'er-do-wells wandering the canal. So all the advice has been, once you've gone past Curdworth, zoom straight through to the centre of Birmingham, stop safely there, and then zoom out to the other side. So that's going to take a period of 3 days. Curdworth today, to the middle of Birmingham the day after, and then out to the other side the day after that. But there are locks after locks after locks. It's just unbelievable how many locks there are on the approach to Birmingham. So 3 tough days. Let's get the easy one over with.
First things first, let's chug up the canal to the junction itself and make a brief stop at the facilities to top up the water and empty the loo as usual. That's where I'll be going in a minute, but first just past there to the Canal and River Trust office. One awkward turning manoeuvre later and I'm pulling in for my chores. Now, if you saw these arrows pointing to where the Elsan point was, where do you think you should go? Turns out it's behind the brickwork. Not at all obvious from the signs, or maybe I'm stupid. Anyway, found it in the end, and I can now head back to Fazeley Junction to turn right towards Birmingham. Here we go, now entering the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal. And there are some contractors working under the bridge to make the towpath a bit nicer with some fresh brick paving. Past the old mill building, from which Fazeley Mill Marina must get its name, I'll be there in a second. But first, isn't this an amazing boat? Very big, very colourful, and a very unusual design. So off, heading south now. Drayton Manor Theme Park is over to the right, but you can't see it from here. A few yards down, and there's the marina where I'm going to get coal and gas after failing to do so at Alvercote. All marinas have tiny entrances, but I swear this one's the most awkward yet. I've made it look super smooth by speeding it up, but must confess there was a tiny little bang onto their concrete as I cocked up the turn here. Maybe that explains all the no turning signs after all. Nothing serious though, only my pride dented, and I pulled onto the service pontoon which lies right inside the entrance. But blow me if they don't have any gas today. Coal, yes, so I bought 3 bags. Here's what the marina looks like. Quite compact, quite pretty, seemed friendly enough. Sadly, it's next to the road that runs down to the takeaways roundabout, so it's not as peaceful as it looks. There's a bit of building work going on as I visit, the old wooden office being replaced with a new proper brick one. Supplies loaded, now all I have to do is back out and not hit anything coming past. There is almost zero visibility until you're out, but it is actually easier this way than going forwards, because at least I'm at the sticky out end, so I can see as I move out into the main channel. If you're unaware, there is pretty much no steering in reverse on a narrowboat, so you have to do a contorted back, forward and turn cycle in order to go round. This, I'm pleased to say, was accomplished without incident, quite possibly because nothing else was coming along at the time. Right, full power for my target today of Curdworth, and first up past a load of hire boats. And there is some excellent news.
As you can see, the hat is on, the shades are on, it is officially summer. This is predicted to last for 2 days.
At Drayton Bassett just ahead is a most unusual bridge, built apparently in the late 18th century. A Gothic-style overhead pedestrian walkway with twin towers either side. For anything not pedestrian, there's a swing bridge too, which is usually left open. The towers are complete with spiral staircase, so you can walk up and over. It's quite bizarre, but quite fun. Speaking of bizarre, this boat's roof was decorated with several huge stuffed toys. No idea what that's all about, but I spotted this one further down the canal too. Onwards, ever onwards through the countryside, and I've discovered where the swans come for their spring conference. This is Middleton Lakes RSPB Reserve, a 400-acre site on what was a gravel quarry. Coming up soon though, the first of 11 locks in the Curdworth flight, which is just over a mile long. Here's the bottom lock. No one else around, so this'll be a bit of hard graft for me then. It's got to be good exercise, if it doesn't kill me. Done and out. 10 more to go. There's the next one already. Onwards and upwards, quite literally. Don't worry, I'll spare you footage of them all, but I just want to prove I was there. Quite a lot of local opposition to the new rail line here. Not surprisingly, I suppose, as it would cut across this rather lovely land. I do not intend to get political here, but I've not met a single person who actually wants HS2. There are enough railways alongside the canals as it is, frankly, without the awfulness of new ones being built. Some very dangerous loose tiles on this lock landing, which cracked and slipped as you stood of them. I could easily have gone in, I think. Couldn't resist a shot of the boat sitting pretty in the lock. You can see my new coal in the well deck. At last, out of nowhere, some lock volunteers to help me through, making the final few locks rather quicker and easier. Just a few hundred yards now to Curdworth village. I tried to film this chap, but he wasn't having any of it. That's Curdworth tunnel ahead, thankfully just 57 yards long, so through and out in a flash and tied up on the bank for an overnight mooring before the assault on Birmingham a day later. Nice spot here to gather my strength, with some lovely neighbours too, who, as it turned out, know a mate of mine. Weird coincidence.